Yes, folks, it is that time again. Let's talk about what I picked up at the comic shop this week. I hope you guys are doing well. My wife seems to be stable in the hospital, so please just keep continuing praying for her, and we'll all get through this together and come out on the other side as a stronger, more cohesive unit. Thank you for your thoughts and your well wishes. Let's start with the pick of the week, and this is my favorite book, and unfortunately at the back of it I got to find out that it's going to be going on a hiatus, but it will be back, and it will be back with Robert Kirkman and Ryan Ottley and Annalisa Leone. So you get to see the continuation of Battle Beast fighting the Juggernaut, and she is something else. She is twice as tough as her brother and just keeps coming and keeps coming. But at the end of the day, you get to see this cool thing about the sword that was built from her brother being regenerative. How cool is that? That you break a weapon, you destroy the way that your opponent can defend themselves, and all of a sudden it comes back. So I'm not going to say how that particular fight ends, but I will say it is one hellaciously fun story that Robert Kirkman and Ryan Ottley are telling here. And again, that's what's missing in a lot of books these days. It's just not fun. A lot of them tell a great story, they have great artwork, but it doesn't engage the reader. And without engaging the reader and pulling them in, how are we supposed to continue to pick up these books? How are we supposed to continue to love the medium that is so interesting, that there's so many YouTube comic guys and gals out there? This is really the most fun series I've had in a while, and I knew that Kirkman was able to do that, because when he goes out there and just pushes himself, 9 times out of 10, it's some of the most fun reading that you'll ever do, whether it's fiction, non-fiction, or otherwise. We get the continuation of the robot, who's now built itself a body, and the little baby king over here, he who would be king. And he says, I can kind of feel the crushed parts of me regrowing, and it hurts a little. But they don't know what became of Battle Beast after his fight with the She-Hulk, the purple She-Hulk. They don't know what happened to him. So you do get to see, eventually, Battle Beast saying that this is just the beginning of this fight. It's not the end by any means. And she sits on her throne and healing her wounds, and she says, Battle Beast is a serious threat. I will now treat him as such. And at the end, you get to see some characters that you didn't really expect to see. I'm not going to give that one away, but it does say at the top, it says Invincible Universe. So that's the only teaser that I'm going to give to you. It's at the end of the first arc. So if you hadn't picked this up yet, don't try to go back and get all 6 issues. I'm pretty sure issue 1 is kind of expensive by now, especially when it had the blind bag stuff going on and all of that. Wait for the trade, but when the trade comes out, or if they do it in a hardcover, don't dawdle. Just go get this. You will enjoy it, I promise. All right, next up, we have Amazing Spider-Man number 14. This time it is done by Joe Kelly, Ed McGuinness, Todd Nauck, Mark Farmer, Wade Von Grawbadger, and Marcio Menez is the colorist. Let's see. So we get the continuation of Norman Osborn trying to be a good guy, trying to be Spider-Man, trying to live up to the legacy of who Peter Parker is. And we all know that Norman, despite his wanting to be the good guy, can't live up to he can't live up to who Peter has been all these years. Norman's sins have been taken away, and he is truly a good guy now. But does that take away everything that he's done before? That's what you have to ask yourself to really enjoy Norman. And you know eventually the turn is coming. You know it's coming. It may be another 7, 10, 15 years that Norman is goody two-shoes, but you know eventually that twist is coming. And then Peter's new boss is got some history here with Norman Osborn, and so she's pretty much telling Norman, leave Peter alone. This is none of your business if you're trying to pull him away for Oscorp. And he says, this is purely personal, I assure you. I'm not trying to headhunt him for Oscorp. I'm just trying to deal with some issues that Peter and I have. Meanwhile, we get a brand new Spider Slayer. We haven't seen one of those in a long time. As far as I know, this has nothing to do with Spencer Smythe, who was the last master of the Spider Slayers, but we're just not sure yet. What I will say is Joe Kelly is juggling a lot of different balls on this book at this point, and so far he hadn't dropped any. The Hellgate thing didn't hit exactly the way that I think he wanted it to for some people, myself included, but I will say that it's been fun. I can say that, hands down, no questions about it, that it has been a great time. All right, next up, we have a cat walking into the frame. Penny, get down off the table. Get down. I don't want to have to put y'all out, but y'all aren't gonna mess up my video. Come on, get down, Pepper. Good girl. All right, one went one way and one went the other. So let's see what I gotta do to block both of them from coming back in here. All right, next up we have Flash Gordon, issue number 12 by Jeremy Adams, the new artist Eder Messias, Lee Lawridge, and Taylor Esposito. I don't like this guy, the artist, as well as I liked Will Conrad, and then we finally got Will Conrad back in issue 11, and then he's gone again. But as far as fun goes, this was almost as fun as ASM was. This book, Jeremy Adams has made me care about a character that I cared nothing about. Nothing about. I've seen Ted with Mark Wahlberg. I know I know that I'm supposed to love Flash Gordon. You know, but I just couldn't get behind the character. I like Tom Strong, so don't tell me I don't like Pulp Heroes. I like the Phantom. I like the Prince Valiant stories, things like that, from that time and that period. But I never cared for Flash Gordon. Jeremy Adams has made me love Flash Gordon. And in this story, we pretty much have the two Flashes on opposite worlds. So the bad Flash is in the good Flash's world, and he's making Professor Zarkov, or Dr. Zarkov, create something that's going to create a ripple in time so that he can travel between worlds. And meanwhile, the Flash of our world, the good Flash, is fighting with Ming the Merciless on his planet, where Ming is the hero and Flash is the villain, and he's trying to show Ming, I am not the bad guy here. I'm not the same Flash that you're used to. So Jeremy Adams turned it upside down and on its head in this book, and I cannot wait for issue 13. I don't know if there's going to be a break. No, I don't see that there's going to be a break in Flash Gordon, so I can't wait till the next issue comes out to see whether or not these two Flashes come to blows again, like they did in the last issue, and if they do, see who triumphs. All right. G.I. Joe by Joshua Williamson, Marco Federa, and Lee Lowridge again. And this issue, we get introduced to Shooter, who is this character right here that can make apparently impossible shots as a sniper. She was a gold medalist in the Olympics, but more importantly, she is one hellacious sniper. She can hit anybody, any target from anywhere. So she would definitely be an asset to the Joes. This issue has got Marco Fedora as the artist. It's a little more cartoony than what I'm used to in the series. But at the same time, it almost has like a Hayden Sherman type feel to it. So I'm down for it. And apparently, they say that the next issue kicks off the Dreadnought War. So we're going to get The Walking Dead is still in the coming towards the end of its all-out war storyline. Is the word I was trying to think of. But this new storyline, I think, also comes out bi-monthly, and so, or bi-weekly. So it'll have, I think, 2 issues every month. So looking forward to that. Looking forward to how Beachcomber and Shooter pull themselves and assimilate themselves into this Joe team. I think I'm too far away, too much removed from the original G.I. Joe, the Real American Hero series by Larry Hama to really jump on after issue 300. But this here has given me my fix of classic Joes. And you get to see the political intrigue. You still get to see Destro and Cobra Commander and now Major Blood, who's working for Cobra. You get to see how all of these things come together. So this is tightening the noose along with Void Rivals and now the Robert Kirkman-led Transformers series to pull this Energon universe more tightly together and weave these stories in a way that people can really, really enjoy them. And like I said before, if you haven't tried G.I. Joe, try this series by Josh Williamson. I'm sure, and this is not a blow to Larry Hama at all, but I'm sure that if Josh had been writing G.I. Joe as long as Larry Hama had, then I don't know that it would be as fresh as this title is. But here we've got pure love for the property distilled into a monthly book. Don't get me wrong. I love Larry Hama and I love the classic G.I. Joe series. Do not hear me wrong. I love you, Larry. You're a good man. You've been working on this property for so many years. You do not get the credit that you deserve for building that property into something that's so much greater than it could have been. So don't hear me that I'm hating on Larry Hama. Don't come for me, because it's just too many issues. Now, if I ever go out and get the compendiums and get caught up on that first half of the Marvel run, and then start working on the IDW run, give me some time. Give me some time. I'm looking towards trying to save up for the second Transformers compendium at this moment. All right. I said I was dropping Lucky Devils, but I decided to give it one more issue. This is Charles Soule and Ryan Brown. Ryan Brown getting a little bit of help this time. No, I thought that he didn't do the whole art in this issue. And the kick to this particular issue is that our 2 little devils, I like saying it, our 2 little devils have a domestic falling out. And they decide to go their separate ways due to one devil feeling that way and the other one not. So one devil decides, you know what, I'm going to turn my human completely evil. We're about to twist this knife and just make them terrible. While the other one says, you know what, you got to be as good as you can possibly be, because I'm still going to go for, the destruction of hell, the destruction of everything that it is, so that I can get to the top of the upper echelon of demons. It's okay. This issue kind of pulled me back in, so I guess I'm back on board. It wasn't the greatest thing ever, but it had heart, and it shows that even the most cruel and Icelandic hearted person, they have motives of their own, but they can also be good when it comes down to it. I know that's kind of loose lips and not really saying much, but to me, I feel like I'm going to have to get all the way to issue 8 to really get the whole big story for this. I know why the devils are doing what they're doing. I get that. And I get that each devil in this main story has got a human, and they're trying to twist them to better themselves at the expense of hell. But like I said, I just feel like this is a puzzle that I'm going to need all the pieces before I can really figure out exactly how this all comes together. All right, guys, only 2 more books to go. We have Spawny Guy, issue number 369 by Todd McFarlane and Greg Capullo. No, I'm kidding, Brett Booth. And you get to see Al Simmons instead of Spawn here. It's just his regular human-looking form, although at the end of it, at the end of this story section, you get to see that he is still Spawn. This is the rebirth of Melbolgia, who's Satan for all intents and purposes. And they killed Melbolgia off in issue 100. So he's been gone almost 300 issues. And this storyline here is, like I said, it's the rebirth of Melbolgia. They're trying to resurrect him so that he can sit at his rightful place on the throne of hell. It seems like Violator is part of this that's going to get hurt because he's always been after the symbiote. Let's see. And so Sin eventually gets into an argument with this creature who was Jake, who was this, it says, the man to reveal his true hellish form, a being who was once second in power only to Melbolgia. So Sin, in the Lex Luthor armor, says, hey, are you in? Are you in? Are you out? Which one is it going to be? So we're building up to issue 400, and I have a feeling that by the time we get to about issue 390, that Melbolgia is going to be alive again, and he's going to be a real pain in the neck for Al Simmons. Now, how that turns out, I don't know. I don't know if he's going to actually come back to life and be a pain in the neck for Al Simmons, or if they're rebuilding, and then at issue 400 it hits that crux of either he's reborn or Spawn stops him at all cost, and then he's dissipated off into the 4 winds, never to be reborn again. I don't know. Depends on how much longer Todd wants this title to go. I don't know if he wants it to make issue 500 or if he's okay with 450. It's fun stuff. I hate that the book went to $3.99, but it's still definitely worth it. The Brett Booth artwork, you just can't beat it. He's been doing magnificent artwork for all of these years, and you get this just really detailed stuff. Yeah, it's a little bit of gory stuff, so we won't stay on it for too long, but you get just this absolute detail, and he just keeps going because he's been there for 19 issues now. He's been on there since 350. He and Carlos Barberi switched off as artist at that point. So it's great to see an artist who will stay on a title and stay for multiple issues without taking a break. All right, and last but not least, we have the continuation of All Out War from Walking Dead Deluxe, issue 123. So we're at part 9 of 12 by Robert Kirkman, Charlie Adler, and Stefano Guardino. You get the all-out attack. Let's see. You get the all-out attack from Negan. and Negan's people crash through the gate, and he says, I'm going to teach you people something. You know, I'm going to teach you a lesson for hurting my saviors and repelling my people, and just pretty much not kowtowing and kneeling to Negan. And there are a lot of gunshots. There's chase scenes. This is getting down to the nitty gritty of all-out war, and it's going to come down between Negan and Rick to see who exactly comes out unscathed, who comes out on top. And like I said in the last issue, then you got Negan here with his baseball bat. That is, he went ahead and hit a couple of roamers in order to, now that whenever he hits another person, not only will it hit and hurt, but now it will infect them with the zombie virus. So it was extremely smart for him to have done that. And Negan calls out one of his captains, Dwight, because they get behind Rick, and he says, you know, you can go ahead and attack him. And I'm not giving away what happens on the last page, but you're kind of thinking, oh no, Rick's gonna die. So I will leave you with that cliffhanger. Guys, thank you for your continued support to the channel. It means the world to me. Let's go ahead and go down to the bottom and click that like button on this video. And if you would also subscribe to the channel, tell your friends about it. If you got one friend, I think I've got 239 subscribers at this point. If each one of you told one friend and you actually got them to subscribe, we would be over the 500 mark, or right at the 500 mark, which is what I'm pushing for next. That's going to be my next big goal. So, but anyway, guys, thank you again for joining me. I hope that you've enjoyed this video, and be good to each other. Take care, and we'll see you in the next one.